sun hangs low over jagged cliffs, stretching long, crooked shadows across the valleys below. Dust spins in the heat, carried by a dry wind that smells faintly of smoke. Somewhere far off, villages cry out, their sounds swallowed by distance. You stand at the edge of a ravine where the air feels heavy, sharp with the metallic tang of blood and the bitter sting of burning homes. Below you, soldiers move with purpose. Their armor flashes in the fading light as they cut through the chaos like trained predators. Nearby, women dressed in once fine linens huddle together. The fabric is torn, stained, barely recognizable now. Terror is written across their faces. One by one, they're pulled forward. Their pleas vanish beneath shouted orders. Blades rise, blades fall. The rhythm is precise, almost mechanical, echoing against the stone. And as the first screams tear through the air, something becomes clear. This isn't random violence. This is deliberate, a calculated erasure, a king's desperate attempt to silence whispers of rebellion, whispers carried not by strangers, but by his own blood. Bodies collapse, the ground darkens, slick and unforgiving, as the desert drinks deeply from thousands of lives. What happens next defies belief. This story was buried beneath the sand for centuries. What you're about to hear involves systematic violence against women, drawn from the shadows of ancient power struggles. The details are disturbing, even fragmented, but they are not imagined. They exist in echoes, texts, ruins, and bones. If you need to pause, that's understandable. But if you continue, know this. We're not here to linger on gore. We're here to understand the machinery behind it, the paranoia, the politics, the desperation of a throne so fragile it turned kin into enemies. This wasn't chaos born of war. This was a purge, hidden at the fringes of an empire, far from the marble halls of Rome and the sacred stones of Jerusalem. It unfolded in the harsh wilds of Idumea, where loyalty cracked like dry earth under pressure. Herod, the self-made king, wasn't just ruling Judea. He was reshaping it, brick by bloody brick. His rise didn't come from ancient lineage or divine right. It was forged through alliances with conquerors and betrayals of his own people. And this act, targeting the daughters of Idumea's noble houses, women tied to royal lines that once rivaled his, laid bare just how fragile his crown truly was. This wasn't madness alone. It was a system. Spies lurked in every shadow. Soldiers enforced silence. Fear stretched from palace corridors to remote plateaus. And why does this still matter? Because power built on erasure leaves scars, even in the sand. It reminds us how fragile empires really are, and how voices meant to be forgotten can still reshape history. To understand this, we need to go back to the cradle of Herod's world. Idumea was a rugged land south of Judea, where red cliffs met endless dunes and survival meant bending before greater powers. This was the legacy of Esau, the biblical twin whose descendants carved out a kingdom among the harsh beauty echoed later in Petra and along the salt-crusted shores of the Dead Sea. By the time Herod entered the story, Idumea stretched from Hebron southward, forming a buffer between Judea and the Nabatean Arabs. It was rich in trade routes, but poor in unity. Tribes clashed, loyalties shifted, and foreign empires, Persian, Greek, Roman, left their marks like footprints in the dust. This was an age of flux. Alexander the Great's conquests had swept through, Hellenizing the region. Greek gods blended with local cults. Philosophy mixed uneasily with ancient laws. But Judea, under the Hasmonean kings, pushed back. In the late 2nd century BC, John Hyrcanus led campaigns south, conquering Idumean cities like Adora and Marissa. He didn't just take land, he demanded submission. The Idumeans, proud descendants of Esau, faced an impossible choice: circumcise, adopt Jewish law, or leave. Many stayed, converting under force. Altars to Kos, their storm god, were smashed and replaced with Yahweh's commandments. It was integration at the edge of a sword. Rivals turned into reluctant kin, but resentment never disappeared. Idumeans became Jews in name, yet old identities survived in whispered stories and hidden rites. And from within this tension rose Antipater, Herod's father. An Idumean noble, Antipater was sharp, ambitious, and endlessly adaptable. He navigated the Hasmonean court like a desert fox, earning favor through loyalty and strategy. Appointed governor of Idumea by Hyrcanus II,